Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dale, and this is Gene Hembry. Today we're going to give you guys a closer look into the buying process here at Preferred. Inventories and airplanes that we go out and salvage. So I just have some questions for you, Gene. Thanks for joining me here today.
Sure, glad to be here.
Some of the questions you might get from people, I guess, would be like, how do we find our inventories? How do we find our parts?
A lot of the inventories come to us instead of us going to them. Our marketing team does a really good job of putting in their flyers and such that we do buy parts, and I think people just know that when we sell parts, we get them from somewhere. So a lot of times people would just call in and say, "Do you guys buy parts?" and we go from there.
So these can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a repair station looking to get rid of stuff. It can be somebody who has parts for their own airplane that were new, sitting on the shelf.
Sure. And
they'll give you a call with those.
Right. We get calls from everybody, from companies, FBOs that are downsizing, or that maybe they've stopped servicing a particular airplane and they have a bunch of spares for that. Or people that inherited a few parts here and there and just want to clean out their garage. So yeah, we'll buy from any source as long as it fits our products.
So you said anybody can give you a call. So what kind of parts are we interested in? Are we interested in the used parts too, or it just has to be new surplus, or what are you looking for?
Primarily, we are buying new surplus parts right now, but we do buy parts that are used that we can overhaul and that sort of thing. No, I'll never say never. We do buy a lot of different things. The best thing to do is just send us a list of what you have, and we'll look through it. We buy rotable things, starters, alternators, starter generators, those sort of things that are used. Not so much on used single engine pieces, and then we also buy complete used airplanes if it fits our needs. So.
Okay, so kind of like the Citation 525 right here behind us.
Yep.
That's something that it was in an accident or something?
Yeah, it was in a tornado and damaged, and the insurance company auctioned it off on the website, and we bought it. So,
okay. Yeah. So anybody, you mentioned the insurance company there, is that the only people that will buy salvage aircraft from? Or?
No, we buy from individuals. The thing to remember on salvage airplanes is we can't usually make it work for airplanes that are just, you're done using them if they're still in flyable conditions. A flying airplane is worth a whole lot more than a parts airplane.
Okay, so a flying airplane's worth more flying.
Yes,
right,
yes,
right,
yes.
Okay.
So if you're just trying to get rid of an airplane that you've owned that's still in flying condition, we're not going to be able to compete against the used airplane market.
Okay.
But for damaged or run out, where you've got engines that need overhauled, avionics that need upgraded, interior that's no good, and paint that needs to be done, some of those we can sometimes compete and buy.
Okay, so if I have an airplane that Grandpa left to the family sitting behind the barn, what is some information you need from me?
Okay.
Do you come out and look at it, or how do you judge what you're going to pay?
Sure. The information we need is aircraft total time, and then the engine total time, the list of avionics in the airplane. Those are the three major things we need to do. As far as coming out to look at them, usually we do an inspection when we come to pick up the airplane. We don't generally come out and look at it and then come back and make an offer and then go back to pick up the airplane. We get the information from you. We verify the information when we arrive, and as long as it is as our customer says, our vendor says it is, then then it's good. Yeah, we pick it up.
So photos are very helpful.
They are. we know what a Cessna 310 looks like. We
Right.
don't need a picture of the outside, but a picture of the panel is very helpful.
And probably if there's any damage,
Exactly.
you want to see that stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's very helpful.
Yep.
Back to you saying you needed a list or something, like on the parts side, like this inventory that I've got, you say, send me a list. Okay, what kind of lists can you accept from me?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, we can use pretty much any format that you have that you can get to us. Generally, people email us lists. Excel, Microsoft Excel works really well. And the information we need is just the part number, the description, the quantity, and the condition.
Okay.
We don't need pricing. We don't need any other information. From that list, we can evaluate what it's worth and make an offer.
So on your offer then, like if I accept your offer, I have these parts, you guys just send me the money, then I ship it out, or how does that process work?
Okay. Generally what we do is we make an offer and we agree on the terms. Oftentimes we will have the parts shipped here and we go through them to make sure that...
Like every individual part?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
We look through each one of them. And it doesn't take that long. We can get through quite a few parts in a week. And so... We will pay as soon as we get through the parts. Generally, that's what we do. In rare cases, overseas kind of stuff, oftentimes we'll do an escrow. We'll put the money in an escrow, and once we've gone through the parts, we'll release the money to the vendor.
So you mentioned overseas there. Now, do we go over and pick them up? Do we have them ship them to us? Explain some of those scenarios.
Right, we have done both. Oftentimes we do try to get the vendor to ship us the parts with the money in escrow. But we have been over when there's a pretty large inventory. We sometimes can justify going to pack it up and pick it up.
Okay.
That way.
All right. So we ship it, put it in a shipping container.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So. As you're talking about picking up these airplanes, buying them, like, how do they get them to us, or how is that? Do we go pick them up? What works that way?
Generally, we make our offers for airplanes as represented where is. So part of our offer includes the picking up of the airplane. We do have a truck that can haul most of the airplanes we buy in one truck, but it does happen that we have to get a semi-truck in there, a flatbed truck kind of thing, to haul a fuselage if it's too large. But yeah.
Okay. Now, I also know, like, we have gotten airplanes from overseas. Like, how does that work? Like, how do you get them here?
Again, that's generally on overseas airplanes. We will go pick those up and we will load them into a shipping container, and it'll come over via ocean. Freight and
So we do that pretty regularly, or?
It really depends on when what's offered to us. We have done it multiple times in a 6-month period, but I think that probably average you'd maybe get 1 or 2 a year.
Okay. What type of airplanes would we be interested in? That's, I guess, a question that I hear a lot at trade shows. So, answer that for people. What are the airplanes we will bid on?
Our main interest is in Cessna twin-engine airplanes, Cessna Caravans, Cessna Citations, and DC-3s. Those are the main airplanes that we are interested in buying. We have bought other airplanes, other manufacturers, and so it's never a bad idea to ask. But those are the 4 major ones.
Those are the 4 major ones.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess, right along with the question of what type of aircraft do we buy, I know, like, this one we got because it was in a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a guy has an airplane sitting there, but it doesn't have the engines or the avionics are gone, if it's a model that we would normally buy, is that something we're interested in, or those, like, once those things are gone, we don't really want them?
Well, absolutely. We do buy airplanes that have engines missing. We're working on one right now that the engines were low time, and they decided to use them on a different airplane, and they were done with the airplane that they're getting rid of, and so we're buying the airplane without engines, but with avionics. Obviously, if the engines and the avionics and all the control surfaces and the interior is gone, there's not a whole lot left of value, for us to buy. So it needs to have some pieces that we can resell, but we'll consider airplanes in any conditions, with or without engines, avionics, and such. So yeah.
Okay, so you talking about the engines here, I just want to continue that conversation a little bit. Like, if somebody does have a couple engines that they're looking to get rid of, maybe a run-out core or something that's low time, that's something we'd bid on too, right?
Sure. Yeah. We're not in an engine shop. We don't overhaul engines here or anything, and so we don't buy an awful lot of single engine sized engines.
Okay.
The Cessna 150. If you have an engine off of that, we're probably not going to bid on that. But if it's for a Cessna twin, if it's one that we deal in a lot, we will buy cores or ones with time remaining. If we can make it work.
So especially like a Caravan, Pilatus, or DC-3 engines, like those are ones that definitely we'd like to know about, right?
Absolutely, or twin engine Cessnas, the engines that would fit on those TSI IO 520s, that sort of thing.
Okay. So along with those engines, like if somebody just has some pistons or some, a couple crankshafts or something sitting around, are we interested in those, or are we not?
Some we are. It depends on what it is. We certainly like to be asked about it, and sometimes we can make offers, and sometimes we can't.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay, so now I've covered a lot of the questions about the engines, and pistons and those type of things, what we might be interested in that way. What about aircraft hardware? Like, I know we have a bunch. We have a ton. I'm always trying to market it and push it to people and let them know, AN hardware especially, we have a bunch.
Right.
And now we're a supplier for Airfasco.
Correct.
Are we interested in people's inventories of hardware?
We do buy hardware with other inventories. We generally don't buy inventories of exclusively hardware. Hardware is just it's a lot of work to count. It's a lot of it's heavy, and it's a lot of work to keep track of. And honestly, when it sells, it's not a huge money maker. AN washers sell for a penny or two each, and so so we don't go looking for hardware. We do buy hardware in inventories with other things that we want, but it's not something that we look for.
Okay. All right, so a question that I get a lot, and I'm sure you do too, what do we pay for inventories?
Well, we most of the parts that we have here that are new surplus, we sell at 40% off list price. So there's a starting point. We're not going to be able to pay anywhere near that. But it really does vary. I wish I could say it's always going to be 50% of list price, but it's not. So for Caravan parts, we can pay quite a bit more for it. We operate 4 Caravans. We like to repair Caravans. We like to have Caravan parts on hand. So for Caravan parts, we can pay quite a bit for, but it really is dependent on the part. For hardware stuff, we pay a lot less percentage-wise than we can for Caravan parts. So unfortunately, there's not a direct answer for that question. We just ask people to send in lists, and from there we evaluate the list. We say we can give you X dollars for this, and a lot of times we can make it work. Sometimes we can't, and it's okay. We're never offended at a decline, and we do ask that you understand that we do have to make some money on it also, and so we can't always make a deal, and we're okay if we can't. But
that's just business.
It's just business, and we hope that our customers, our vendors, can say, hey, well, this one didn't work. We'll try again next time. And we have had that where people have said, I could never sell it for that cheap, and then they get another inventory of items, and they can sell it for a price that we can offer. So
So
you
we end
know,
up getting that.
yeah, exactly. And we understand that. We're not offended if you can't sell it to us. It's just we're giving it a try.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, we've covered all this stuff in purchasing, and I hope that we've covered a lot of questions that both of us have gotten when we've been out at trade shows or talking to customers over a phone. You know, I mean, but some people might not know this either. Is like you're heavily involved with our inventory department.
Yep.
With how our inventory is listed in-house here. What is something that I guess you'd like everyone to know about Preferred and the way our inventory works that you're not going to know unless you're here every day seeing it?
Right. I think the thing that I appreciate about Preferred is that the guys that do the inventory, that put the inventory on the computer and put it away, really take pride in their work. I've worked for 3 other FBOs before I came to Preferred Airparts, and it was always, if it showed on the computer, you'd better go to the box and make sure it's there. Where we don't have that many items that we can't find. We have millions of parts here, so there are parts that we cannot find because there's just a lot of...
And it's been a lot of years.
It is. It has, yes. But percentage-wise, we do very well, and the guys that do the work here really take pride in their work, and they do a super job. And so if you see something that's listed on ILS and PartsBase, you don't have to say, I wonder if they really have it, because unless we sold it this morning, unless, you know, it's going to be here 99% of the time.
Right. And we're not like other places that I've seen. They'll list that they have something. That doesn't mean they have it. They're going to go find it. We won't go find it.
No.
We don't advertise it unless we have it in stock.
That's right. That's right. It's here, and we can ship it the same day for most items that we have on hand. If it needs a crate, it might take a day to get a crate, but most items we can get out the same day.
And there is that rare occasion where somebody beat you to it. You know, somebody called earlier in the day or the day before, and it just didn't quite make it off yet.
Right.
But the same with our inventory on our website, like daily, that's updated. But sometimes there is that rare occasion where somebody got it before you.
Yeah,
you know?
it does happen.
So, well, thank you very much today,
welcome.
Gene. I mean, to me it was helpful, and I knew most of the answers. So hopefully that helped some of our customers out
Absolutely.
there. If you guys aren't already, you know, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and have a good weekend. Stay safe.
See you later.